Hello, and welcome to the Proactive LinkedIn Live. Today, we're going to discuss social impact housing and its social benefits. This is part two of a two-part series. My name is Bill Houston, and I'm the founder of CrowdMax, a real estate crowdfunding marketing consulting agency. And let me introduce Dr. Kanan Van Williams, Managing Director of Proactive Social Impact Funds.
Yes, thank you for that introduction, Mr. Bill. My name is Dr. Kanan Van Williams of the Proactive Social Impact Funds. Our website is proactiveimpactfunds.com. And we've been in the social impact space for 5 years as a fund, and I'm celebrating my 25th year in real estate as an individual and fund manager. And however, throughout the course of my career, I didn't know it had a name initially, but it's been social impact from start to finish. That's been my mission, is to provide affordable housing and to provide naturally occurring affordable housing, which is social impact housing, workforce housing, second chance housing, social services housing, and housing that gives people the opportunity to participate.
Great. Thank you for that introduction and letting us know what social impact housing is. So, for our first question today, what is the role of private investors in social impact housing?
Yes. So the role of private investors, I'd say, in impact housing is that private investors are able to support social impact housing by investing in funds like Proactive Realty, income funds, our social impact fund, our opportunity zone funds, our pending Reg CF fund. It ensures both financial returns, social benefits, but it allows us to revitalize properties, to be able to quickly provide housing to those who are in need of such housing.
Hey, thanks. This is one I know that you'll be able to give us a lot of information on. Um, how do you
Yes,
go
sir.
out measuring the success of social impact funds?
A really great question. So currently, we have several metrics we use. Currently, we're just putting the finishing touches on our in-house social impact fund. Currently, we use Morningstar Sustainalytics. We have a social impact report from them on the success of metrics such as the number of affordable units created, resident satisfaction, overall social impact on the community. What's really important is the cost savings benefit per unit. How many families are we able to impact positively by that and create economic benefits for housing security? So metrics are very important. Currently, we use Morningstar. We have a Morningstar Sustainalytics social impact report. We have an in-house report that we're putting the finishing touches on, and all of those are ways that we track our progress and make sure that we're hitting the target on our mission of social impact housing, and being able to serve families and serve individuals who are in need of that housing.
And if I wanted to take a look at the Morningstar Sustainalytics, is there any place that I could go to take a look at that report?
Yes, excuse me, you go to proactiveimpactfunds.com, and there you register to download a copy of the report, or you can call myself directly, or you can reach out to Mr. Bill. Our 800 number is 1-800-626-2089, or my personal cell, 803-989-8264. Email invest@proactivefunds.com or admin@proactivefunds.com.
Thank you. When we talk about social impact housing, a lot of times I don't think people look at kind of like the ancillary or downstream contributions that are made to the community, to the development of the community. Could you talk a little bit about the contributions to community development that social impact housing makes?
One opportunity for residents to thrive economically, socially. Socially mean having a stable environment, cohesion, a sense of community, housing security. I I can't overemphasize stability. Stability is like one of the most important. Um, and also that what comes with that is food security. Because you have one place you live, you have a refrigerator, you have a stove or freezer. You're able to go and buy groceries. Versus if you're in a transitional type situation, whether it be, you're in a shelter or you're somewhere else, or staying with friends or staying other places, you just don't have the food security that goes along with social impact housing and having a stable, environment, a stable place to live. And it's also very important for the kids who are involved that they have a stable place that they live as well.
Hey, great, thank you. Could you talk a little bit about maybe a project that Proactive did that has the integration of community development initiatives?
So for us, projects like the Fremont Street, 2540 Fremont Street in Las Vegas, the renovation there included some community spaces and programs that fostered social interaction and community support through Southern Hope of Nevada, through local social services programs. We had an office, and right next to the office, we had another space that we made available to residents so that they could residents and social workers and meeting space for social workers to meet with various residents to get some social services and just get needs met. So I'm trying to turn my phone down. So we're very thankful for that, and it was very helpful.
Great. Another question. We just spoke a moment ago about the Sustainalytics Morningstar Sustainalytics report.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
what are some of the benefits of having that report, and how does that differentiate the proactive social impact funds from other people raising capital for affordable housing or social impact housing?
Oh, great question. And I'll add a little piece to the previous question just because something came to me as I was listening to what you're asking about the Sustainalytics social impact reports. Going back to, just for a quick second, going back to the integration of community development initiatives, it's very important that viewers know the importance of space. So like in social impact housing, like, okay, we did Fremont Street. We did Orangeburg, 100 Banachet Circle. We had a lot of meeting space there or additional spaces. So in all of our properties, and even if we don't have a space that's designated or we don't have enough room or what have you, or the property may not have an office right there on site, we make our own offices available to social services, case managers, social workers, people, who are needing services, especially confidential services, whether it be counseling, whether it be domestic violence, private placement for both men and women, families who are in danger, that sort of thing. Where, my background is in psychology. I have my psychology hat on now here fully. I have a doctorate degree in psychology, and for myself, it's very important to be able to serve people in the realm of in the realm of social services, and make sure that in social services that they're able to access the services that they need that support them and have an adequate housing, whether that be also working with other psychologists or psychiatrists, or making sure for those who give us permission to know or we work with that they're med compliant, meaning that, so for example, and I'm not going to say any names for privacy reasons, we have one young lady who came to us, she has an apartment, she's thriving, she's been homeless, she has like 5 evictions on her record. And a lot of the evictions are not because, she just doesn't want to pay rent. It's just been because of her mental health status. She's high functioning when she's on her medications, and so she's med compliant. And so just a quick study on Rancho is that we had a quick case study, is that we had a social worker we reached out to and says, hey, well, this lady may be falling into, some trouble or what have you. And so we were able to provide meeting space at our office at 601 South 10th Street in Las Vegas, Nevada. where the social workers was able to come. We had a conference room there that we have access to that shared with other offices in the building. And, they were able to meet privately, and then they called us in and we came in to do our part. So I just want to just put that out there because it's very important that, we're able to work with people that we serve. So now on to the benefits of the Sustainalytics social impact reports. So impact reports are very important. They're very objective, and especially Morningstar. This is Morningstar, the fund rating company. So Morningstar Sustainalytics. So these reports, they provide an objective assessment of the social impact of Proactive Realty Group's projects. This helps us to attract investors and to validate the effectiveness of our initiatives. Additionally, the report was completed June of 2024. We have a review coming up within 12 months. So by May or June of 2025, Lord willing, we'll have a follow-up where we get an annual review. And in that review is use of funds. How did you allocate funds? What did you use them for? Who received cost benefits? How many families were you able to affect? It's measured impact, and they have very specific metrics, and they keep you accountable. And that's something that we're excited about and we're looking forward to because of the work we do in the space we're in. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of impact washing. There are a lot of people who are even in opportunity zones who are exploiting those or who's saying, hey, we're going to help a specific group, or we're going to do a ESG, or we're going to, and it's just not happening. It's I see so much fraud in it. It's just unbelievable that people, So anyway, so the report keeps us accountable, attracts investment, and allows investors to see that, okay, my dollar is working for good.
Great. So kind of following up to that, why don't you tell us a little bit about how Proactive Social Impact Funds actually incorporates sustainable living practices?
Oh, wow. So we have a water policy. We have an energy policy that we've implemented. Sustainable living in our manufactured homes is that they're low E houses. They're certified Energy Star. We use renewable energy wherever we can. We use water conservation measures. We promote recycling. We promote waste reduction within housing developments. Now, let's talk a little bit about waste reduction. Back when we had, I had a previous LinkedIn Live. Remember, Mr. Bill, I had Mr. Nicely on?
Yes.
Okay, and we talked a lot about waste and how homes are built in a factory. They have it down to such a science with manufactured homes that there's like 0 to 5% waste, if that much, because they have it down to a science. In renovation, so in our SRO properties or in our multifamily properties, we know what materials we need. We have a warehouse where we store additional materials that we'll take to another site. We use green products as much as we possibly can. And we do all we can to make sure that projects are sustainable.
So with that being said, what are some of the long-term benefits of sustainable living?
Oh, so long-term benefits leads to reduced environmental impact, lower operating costs, healthier living conditions for residents, housing security, housing cost benefit savings, affordability, lower energy costs, and a much smaller carbon imprint or carbon footprint on the environment as a whole.
Okay, great. Changing gears just a little bit here. Can you tell us a little bit about how Proactive Social Impact Funds has leveraged or is leveraging public-private partnerships?
Oh yeah. So like in our South Carolina, excuse me, in our South Carolina project that we sold a publicly traded REIT, UMH, the Social Impact Affordable Housing Group, that in that particular property, it involved collaboration with local authorities, Orangeburg County, as well as state authorities, South Carolina STAY program, that we were able to implement social services, and we were able to ensure long-term affordability and community support, especially during COVID. So during COVID, we had 100% rent collection. Why? Because we collaborated, uh, with the public sector to make sure that people had that there were safety nets in place financially for families to, to remain in their homes and for rent to be paid. So it worked out really well.
Okay, great. Thank you. So can you talk a little bit about some of the effective financial models that Proactive Social Impact Funds uses?
Tax credits were appropriate and were available. For example, in Illinois, in our properties, if we have people who are on Section 8 housing, we receive a tax break on our property tax bill, which is a big deal in Illinois. Other financial models are social impact bonds, some real estate crowdfunding, mixed income housing developments have also proven effective in funding our projects. The project in Rancho, 1735 North Rancho Drive, is a mixed income housing, social impact housing, I should say, which means naturally occurring affordable housing. We don't do any new ground up construction or anything. It's all revitalization, so that we can pass those cost savings on, to the residents and to the families that we serve. And we also scale those financial models by replicating successful projects. We leverage technology. We form partnerships with financial institutions. Right now, Clark County Credit Union of Nevada and Clark County, and they're really interested in financing some other projects that involve revitalization or repairing properties and bringing them online for so that people have a safe, decent place to live.
Great. How does Proactive Social Impact Funds, what role do you play in preventing homelessness?
Oh, well, number one, we participate in everything. Any and everything that'll benefit the resident that we're able to serve. Okay, so we serve residents. Wow, that's a good question. Let me slow down because my brain was flooded with so many answers. So our solution to the problem of preventing homelessness is our social impact housing is affordable. It provides stable, low-cost housing options and support services to those at risk. Like I just gave you the example about the young lady who was not med compliant. An average landlord, may have not even noticed or could care less. As I stated, she had several evictions prior. And I imagine maybe some of those landlords had, no experience with social services, or they don't have a background in psychology, or their managers aren't trained to be empathetic. All of our managers are trained to. We have a document called the expulsion process, and that can be downloaded with registration at the website, or you can reach out to myself directly or Mr. Bill. Or anyone on our team, or email invest@proactivefunds.com. The expulsion document is very important because it shows and demonstrates that this is how we prevent homelessness in the first place, is that we intervene, we have intervention. It's not intrusive, and it's a collaborative, cooperative process between, the manager and the resident. If there's social services programs available to help with rent, we know about it. We work with any and every agency we possibly can to make sure families stay intact, to make sure that they keep a roof over their heads. In Orangeburg, we have a young lady who, single mom with newborn and 3 other kids, and she was working at Bank of America. She was doing well, and something happened. I forgot if she had a car repair or something. Anyway, we worked with her. And one of the ways we work with her, and why social impact investing is so important, because it allows us to have cost-effective debt, which allows us to work with residents. So we were able to lower her rent by $150 per month temporarily until November. work with another social service agency to get her utilities paid. There wasn't funding for rent. That comes and goes depending on what the grant is. However, we were able to prevent her from being homeless and to keep her in her residence.
Excellent. Let's talk a little bit about some of the benefits of green building practices that proactive social impact funds actually implement.
Number one green practice is using the right type of drywall. And I know it may sound strange, like drywall. Well, there are certain drywalls that prevent mold, mildew, moisture. Those type in an environment that mold fosters, or the air isn't good, or you have spores, it can be bad for breathing. It could be bad for asthmatics, for allergies. But our green practices, we benefit residents by improving health, reducing utility costs, and we've been in the utility. Oh, and let me back up here. Reducing the utility costs and the overall cost to residents reduces stress. On a large scale. It benefits the environment by reducing carbon footprints. I'm gonna go back to that stress. I don't know how many people or any of our viewers who are in larger cities. Today I'm in Oakland, California, in the Bay Area. I came to meet with some people, and I had some personal matters to take care of today, and I'll be back in Nevada. Anyway, my point in saying that is this. Here in the Bay Area, I experience and see the most road rage I've ever seen anywhere is here in the Bay Area. One of the reasons I attributed this to, and this is my own informal psychological study, is that there's the housing costs, the cost of living is so expensive. You have so many people who are stressed. You have super commuters. A super commuter is one that needs to travel 35 to 50 miles each direction to their place of employment so that they can make it, make ends meet or work or be able to afford where they live. Whereas proactive, our goal is that, we try to do away with the super commute, and we try to our very best to provide housing, within a 2 to 3, 4 mile radius of employment centers, so people don't have that stress. But anyway, back to the road rage, is that there's a lot of road rage here, and it's because of a lot of housing costs, a lot of stress. People are under an inordinate amount of stress, and that stress contributes to, it just permeates every area of their life. And especially road rage. A person gets behind the wheel. If you don't get over, if you're not moving fast enough, I mean, it's really a dangerous recipe when you don't have really good housing affordability.
Okay, thank you very much. What are some of the incentives for green building?
Oh, tax breaks, grants, subsidies for developers who adopt green building practices in their affordable housing projects. For proactive specifically, we benefit with green building incentives because some cities will offer a grant to make improvements, to bring in solar. I know that in Las Vegas, Nevada, we're in contract for 153 units there, and we're looking to add solar to each one of those SRO properties, to add in one property 2 charging stations. We'd like to work with PowerFlex. We're talking to someone who's in talks with them. Another property, we'd like to add 3 charging stations, and another property 2 charging stations, and again, solar panels that reduce carbon footprint and reduce overall cost savings to residents, and also implementing water AI technology. There's a technology with AI that prevents leaks, that detects water usage, that kind of measures it, so that we know what to do and how to do it in our properties, especially manufactured home properties. They can be very wasteful with water if pipes are leaking or infrastructure is not correct. And so we utilize technology. This goes along with incentives for green building, but however, we utilize technology to enhance efficiency and sustainability. We implement smart home systems, smart utility systems, energy management software, data on analytics that monitor and improve housing conditions for our residents. And there's so many innovations right now, such as, you have advanced building materials. I think I mentioned this before on one of our previous shows, that there are now homes that have, in a manufactured housing space, that have solar shingles. We're really excited about that. Low E, zero carbon emission hot water heaters, energy efficient HVAC systems, smart home technology, manufactured homes that are built to Energy Star standards, that are low E, certified low E homes. So we're really excited about that.
Great. Technology really moves quickly. What does
Yes.
proactive social impact funds do to ensure meaningful resident engagement?
I can sum it up in one word: service. Our mission is to serve those that we provide homes to. You can call it housing. We like to say homes. We don't refer to our residents as tenants. They're residents. This is where they reside. This is their community. So we ensure engagement by involving residents in decision-making processes. We offer community programs. We maintain open lines of communication. All of our managers are trained, like I said previously, to be empathetic, to work with people, to be firm, however, extremely fair, and to make time to talk to residents and to see how we can meet their needs and how we can support them in housing. And it's important to note that, especially in second chance housing, people who are formerly unhoused, that a lot of residents may have experienced some type of trauma somewhere along the lines in their life, or have some issues going on. And it's important for us to be empathetic and open to that, and to be able to relate to people, meet people where they are, and participate as much as we possibly can, while also being respectful of privacy in any way that we possibly can.
Great. Thank you very much. So as we come to the close, we're going to change direction here. In our last few questions, we're going to look at some current trends and future trends in affordable housing. So can you talk to us a little bit about some of the current trends that you're seeing in affordable housing?
Yes. Oh yeah. So like I was saying, like with the low E shingles, not low E, but with the shingles that have
The solar panels
built into them. A lot of the trends include the integration of green technologies, use of data analytics to optimize housing management. Like I was saying, the water AI, utility AI now. We have companies that we're partnering with, we're looking into, and as we scale up at Proactive with our social impact fund, we're looking at quite a bit in the areas of green technologies, and all the way down to light bulbs, light switches, energy management, solar, and that's about all I can think of right now in that area.
So as the managing partner at Proactive Social Impact Funds, with the trends that you just named, how do you all plan to implement and stay ahead of these trends in affordable housing?
We stay current. Newsletters, trade shows. We have companies that are very innovative, and I mean, up to the second data. They stay with all the current trends, and they inform us of what's available, what's coming down the pipeline, and we also stay ahead of the trend by we continuously assess community needs. We continually engage with industry experts, whether it be multifamily, whether it be SRO, whether single room occupancy is SRO, or whether it be manufactured housing, multifamily. Um, HUD is a really good source for SRO housing because they publish so much information, and we're able to stay ahead of trends there. And then also through private trade organizations and manufactured housing. We are members of the Manufactured Housing Institute of South Carolina, the Manufactured Housing Institute of Indiana, the Manufactured Housing Institute of Alabama. And we go to so many trade shows each year. And we just stay ahead of all the trends.
Okay, great. So this next question is going to be a two-part question. So I'm going to ask you about some detailed case studies from the Proactive Social Impact Funds, and then some of the lessons that you learned from those case studies.
Oh yeah. So 2540 Fremont Street in Las Vegas, Nevada, 100 Banachek Circle, Orangeburg, South Carolina, 1735 North Rancho, Las Vegas, Nevada, 526 Stilton, Stilton Road, Orangeburg, South Carolina, 926 Mosley Street, Orangeburg, South Carolina, 50 Old Train Road, Greeleyville, South Carolina, are all case studies. And also we have some in Illinois that I take too long to talk about all of those. However, they showcase a successful integration of social impact housing, again, naturally occurring affordable housing. That's what differentiates Proactive from everything else. Our operational alpha is we go in within 100 days, we get communities turned around. Do we do a lot of displacement? Absolutely not. We work with what's there, with what's existing, with residents. We upgrade, we improve slum. We provide valuable lessons for future initiatives. And our key takeaways or key lessons include the importance of community involvement, the need for sustainable practices, the benefits of strong partnerships with social service agencies. And one thing that I cannot emphasize enough is local job creation. So, for example, in Illinois, we have people who come from CETA, from another organization. We call up and say, hey, are there some people who may be interested in some day work? I've gone to the local stores. Sometimes in some of these neighborhoods, they're located in places where they have liquor stores. And, sometimes I'll see someone, hey, man, you got $1 or $2 and, I'll buy a soda or, bag of chips or something. And as long as a person is sober, coherent, and they, are willing to work and do what they need to do, for that day, we certainly offer a lot of day work to locals. We hire local contractors, we hire local plumbers, we hire local maintenance people, and we hire local laborers to do different jobs, whether they be documented, undocumented, all races, all ethnicities, because the low income has no color. It's a socioeconomic thing. And so sometimes, and I'm going off, digressing just a little bit, sometimes people say, oh, well, you do Black housing or you're a Black fund. And no, we're a low income fund. We're a fund that helps anyone that needs help as it relates to housing. And we're as diverse as we can possibly be in that, because low income is not about gentrification. It's about low income people, period. People who are at or below the poverty line, and we house them, which differentiates us. And we just happen to be able to make a decent return for our investors because we get government subsidies quite often, or social services, pay a portion of the rent. And back to a question you asked earlier, one of our safety nets is when they have programs like that, if they're laid off from work or they get fired or something happens, they then notify the social services agency or the Section 8 office for housing. And they says, hey, my income is now zero, and they'll take care of 100% of the rent. So one of the key takeaways and a lot that we've learned is that, to be successful, you have to include everyone, that is willing to work and that you can include that's safe and viable for the project locally. It's very important to include people locally and to have a diverse workforce of people.
All right, thank you, Dr. Van. That was a very in-depth answer. So for our last question today,
Yes, sir.
as the managing partner of proactive social impact funds, what is your vision for the future? That's one. And then the second part of that question is, after you explain to us the vision of the future, how can we as potential investors take part in this vision of the future that proactive social impact funds has?
Okay, so well, great question. So our vision for the future is a social impact that's abundant, sustainable, integrated with essential services, and thriving communities. Part of that is providing information. We have a operations person who's working on providing like guides for each one of our properties that, okay, this is where all the transportation is. This is where, the job centers are. This is where the educational centers are. So some communities have 211 or 311 that you call .org or different agencies. So this is how you access services. These are jobs that, we have, like in our office. We allow people to come in and post jobs all the time. So part of our vision is that we have sustainable social impact housing. So over the next 7 to 12 months, through this offering, through our social impact funds, through crowdfunding, our goal is to add 750 additional new units of impact housing to our portfolio, and to continue to work with those in need of housing, continue to expand and work with social services agencies, governmental agencies. We have a nonprofit that will be up and running within about I want to say, I talked to the formation attorney yesterday. I believe the timeline she gave me was about 60 to 90 days, and we need to wait for our EIN. That will be available to the public at large, not just proactive, but it'll support part of our vision. It'll support people in housing. So, for example, like in areas that may not have as much funding, like Orangeburg or a place, Illinois or Las Vegas, it'd be very helpful that people have a resource. And even when they're placed in housing, that they have a starter kit, that they have, a couple beds, a table for the kids, a television, the basics to get them going and get them started. Because one thing I've noticed is, and I'm a little bit off the subject here, is that when people come to our housing program, sometimes, yes, the city or the county will provide, the funds for them to move in, have a place to stay, pay a few months of rent up front. That's great. However, a person may go from living, so in Las Vegas, they have the La Quinta Inn that they converted to a homeless shelter. It's 316 rooms. And case in point, I have a young lady who came to us, and I went down to the Section 8 office myself, the Housing Authority, with my manager, and advocated because her voucher had expired. And I'm like, okay, we have housing available. They argue with me back and forth. Well, her voucher has expired. I say, this lady's homeless and she's living in the courtyard, the courtyard over by La Quinta. Was actually in La Quinta. I'm kind of mixed up here. Anyway, so we were able to get her a place, but the problem was she had a really good job, but now she's living in a brand new manufactured home with no furniture. So, we were able to get her an air mattress, a dresser, and a few things that, we bought out of pocket. So part of our vision is a nonprofit that we'd be able to help people, both publicly and for proactive. So that's about it.
Okay, great. So as we close this out, we're going to ask, how people can learn more about you, learn more about the Proactive Social Impact Funds, how they can follow the Proactive Social Impact Fund online, on social media, on YouTube. But before we get there, I heard a rumor that you are trying your hand as an author, and there may be a couple books on the horizon. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm glad you asked about that. So I have 2 books coming out. And one of the first is going to be on affordable housing, social impact, lasting change. So not on Mondays, LinkedIn Live, not Monday show, but the next Friday by next Friday shows. And also you can keep coming back to the website, proactiveimpactfunds.com, and also my personal LinkedIn page, and check and see when a book will be coming out. But I'm very excited about that, and excited about spreading the word about impact, what it means, and just a lasting change of social impact housing, and how it changes lives, and just how important it is, and meaningful and intentional, and it provides a return. So people who would like to support the vision, and make a return, targeted return, can go to proactiveimpactfunds.com, 1-800-626-2089, or they can email invest@proactivefunds.com, or call me personally, 803-989-8264.
Thank you, Dr. Van Williams. It's a great show, very informative, very insightful, and we will see you on Monday for our next LinkedIn Live.
All right. Thank you, sir.